And the September 11th license plate program here in California advertises a way to help victims' children attend college and support anti-terrorism efforts, provided only a fraction of that scholarship money intended. An Associated Press report shows out of the $15 million collected since the plates were approved in 2002, only $80,000 went to scholarships. 40% of the money went to anti-terror training programs, and $3 billion was raided by Governor Jerry Brown and Arnold Schwarzenegger to plug budget deficits. Millions more have gone to budget items with little relation to terrorism, like workplace safety programs.
A lot of people are reacting to a story out of California today. Listen to this. An Associated Press investigation found the state raided a 9/11 fund to make up for budget deficits. The money is raised by drivers paying extra money for a special edition license plate. Part of the We Will Never Forget fund was supposed to pay for college of children, or for children rather, of Californians who died in the 9/11 attacks.
A full 85% was supposed to help fund anti-terrorism efforts, and only about 40% has gone to those anti-terror measures. No money has gone into the scholarship fund for the past 7 years. So where has it gone? 20% has gone to fill budget shortfalls. The rest has gone to other projects, including battling livestock disease and increasing workplace safety. Some say this is a slap in the face to 9/11 victims and survivors.
What do you guys think? Did the money become fair game when the economy went south? I highly doubt anybody thinks that. I really do.
Shan Man from 98 KUPD, our guest today. What do you think of this?
I think anything that has to deal with 9/11 is absolutely sacred. Especially when it comes to the children of the victims that were lost. I think you don't touch anything that has to deal with the future of those victims' children. Well, there was a special a few months back about the children of 9/11 and how they didn't know anything about where to go. They were living in foster homes. They didn't know their parents all that well. How were they going to get by? And then the other thing is just to know where's your money really going whenever it goes to the government.
See, that's what of course I agree with you on behalf of the children, but isn't this also somewhat of a case of fraud? When you purchase a specific license plate,
right,
with the intent of money going somewhere and you are promised that and it doesn't, that is ridiculous.
I think it blows my mind that we can dump so much money into the government, but we don't know where it's really going.
Yeah, and
where is it really going?
And again, so many people feel like they're just so disenfranchised because of exactly that.
Right.
They feel like the government, once again, they did it to us, and had this raid not happened, people still would have probably been given money.
Hey, if you're going to use the money, put it towards education, towards teachers and classroom supplies. I mean, I'm a big proponent of that, but as far as the fund is concerned, don't touch it. Use it for the children that those victims.
Yeah.
That's all I really have to say.
You guys agree on Facebook.
Absolutely. All right. Millie Davis says it should go to the account it was said to be for. This is why we have no trust in governments right now. A bunch of lying politicians.
And Lynn Lerman says yet another reason why the public hates politicians. We're taxed for this reason or that, usually with a promise to help children, and they find a way to quietly steal it.
Yeah. Neil Donahue says violation of public trust is why they should not have a job.
Yeah, Carolyn Whitehead says just as the Social Security Fund was reworked so the politicians could raid it, so goes most earmarked funds. They raid until they are caught. If they're caught, let's raid state, local, and federal legislators by voting them out.
It seems like most of us are on the same page today on this topic.
Sure.
Right, absolutely.
Well, next,
7 people. 2 California governors raided millions of dollars from a fund meant to help families of victims of 9/11 terror attacks. A license plate program was supposed to provide assistance to the children of victims who wanted to go to college, as well as to fund anti-terrorism efforts. An investigation by the Associated Press found that of the $15 million raised by the program, only $80,000 went to scholarships. Governors Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jerry Brown used $3 million from the fund to plug holes in the state budget. About 40% of the funds did go to anti-terror training programs, but the AP says millions went to budget items that have little to do with terrorism, such as workplace safety programs.
Good evening, I'm Ken Bastida.
And I'm Dana King. A lot of cars in California have specialty license plates. People pay extra money to help Yosemite or protect the oceans. But when it comes to the plates meant to help September 11th victims, Juliette Goodrich tells us the state raided that program.
The We Will Never Forget license plates feature an American flag with clouds and the Never Forget slogan. The DMV website said the money raised would help pay for scholarships for the kids of 9/11 victims, as well as law enforcement, fire protection, and public health agencies to fight terrorism. But according to the Associated Press, in 2008, then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger borrowed $2 million to close a budget gap. And last year, Governor Brown borrowed another $1 million. The state says it plans to pay it back, and the DMV says it has recently removed references about the scholarship fund from its website.
I want to bring some clarity that everybody, all of the 9/11 families who applied for scholarships for their children have either received them or are in the process of getting them.
Since 2002, Californians have bought or renewed these specialty memorial license plates more than 200,000 times. According to the AP report, only $21,381 has reached the children and spouses of the 36 California residents killed during the terrorist attacks. So the question many Californians are asking tonight, where has the money gone?
The governor should not be taking that money if it's not going for what it's meant for.
I think it's totally inappropriate because that money was designated for a certain group of people, and the state is essentially stealing that from the families that it's supposed to go to, and that's inexcusable.
State lawmakers say they were borrowing the money to balance the budget. Their intention? To pay it back. But for victims' family members, some tonight have shared with us that they are disheartened to learn that much of the money is gone to fill the state deficit or was used for general purposes. Juliette Goodrich, CBS 5.
If you paid extra for a special California license plate to help victims of 9/11, this might make your blood boil. The millions generated by the program in California created after the attacks has not gone to help the people it was supposed to. ABC 7 News Capitol correspondent Annette Miranda is live in Sacramento, where there is some serious explaining to do. Annette?
Well, the state has taken in $15 million for the special 9/11 license plates were being offered in California 11 years ago, but now we're finding out that not all that money is being spent appropriately. When Californians like Marina Hernandez pay extra to get a special interest license plate, they expect that money to go to that particular cause.
I would expect that money to go and fund whatever programs it's stated for it to go to.
There's the cause to save California's coastline, or Yosemite National Park. Then there's the specialty memorial plate for 9/11 with the words, "We will never forget." For $50 the first year and a $40 annual renewal, part of the money is supposed to go towards scholarships for the spouses and children of the 36 California residents killed during the terrorist attacks. Most of it was to also help fund anti-terrorism efforts. But an Associated Press investigation found former Governor Schwarzenegger raided $2 million from the fund in 2008, and Governor Brown borrowed another $1 million last year to balance the state budget. None of it has been repaid, although the intention is to put the money back eventually. Many people don't think that's right. You should be borrowing for anti-terrorism or kids' scholarships like this.
Well, the administration had to make some tough choices to not only balance the budget, but also fund much-needed programs.
The state actually stopped funding the scholarship program 7 years ago, but the plates continue to take in $1.5 million a year. The state says every child who applied is getting or will get their money. The AP review also calls into question whether money from the 9/11 plates is really being spent on direct threats of terrorism, with some funds allocated to food safety and gang activity. Daniel Winan says their money should pay for what it's supposed to pay for.
Not only keep my loved ones safe, but as well as someone else's loved ones, families and friends. Me just now hearing this is pretty appalled about the whole thing. It's pretty shocking to me.
Because of the questions being raised, Governor Brown today issued an executive order that all specialty license plates be audited and being looked at to see how the money's being spent. Live in Sacramento, Annette Miranda, ABC 7 News.
By 9/11. Now an apology from the DMV over where the cash went instead.
Should there be an apology here?
Well, in one sense, we do apologize for the misrepresentation on our website.
And that's not all. Tonight, Governor Brown is demanding an audit of the DMV.
Ron Jones is live in West Sacramento with why the governor may actually be part of the problem here, Ron.
Yeah, you know, the governor could be a part of the problem when it comes to those commemorative plates. However, he is demanding an audit of DMV, but he is not apologizing for raiding the coffers of the 9/11 commemorative plates.
Shortly after 9/11, lawmakers approved the commemorative plate to help victims' families in anti-terrorism efforts. They've raised a lot of money.
Approximately $15 million has been raised through plate sales and renewals of the program.
The inscription reads, "We will never forget." But it appears Governor Schwarzenegger and Brown quickly did. They raided $3 million of those 9/11 commemorative dollars to help fix the state's budget deficit. Can they do that?
In statute, the governor has the authority to borrow funds from these types of programs.
Part of the $15 million was supposed to go towards scholarships for the children of California victims, but only a small fraction has. And not a dollar has gone to scholarships since 2005. But the DMV kept pulling on the heartstrings of their customers by advertising on their website donated money would continue to help the education of 9/11 children.
We've since corrected the website effective last week.
But false advertisement is false advertisement, no matter who you are.
But not all of the false advertisement is cleaned up. To this day, there are still printed brochures promising to help the 9/11 kids.
We are in the process of looking to get those papers replaced.
As far as the $3 million 9/11 dollars rated by Brown and Schwarzenegger,
these particular loans will be repaid.
Right.
Should there be an apology here?
Well, in one sense, we do apologize for the misrepresentation on our website.
Well, once again, the governor's office is now asking that DMV is audited, and not just for that particular commemorative plate, but for the past 20 years. We're talking about $250 million collected. But the governor's office is also saying that even though they may not know where all that $250 million went over the past 20 years, they know where that $3 million did, and they're not giving it back.
The definition of borrow, just in case the governor's office is watching, means that you repay what you took, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
they're
Ron.
not giving it back.
Yeah.
Major controversy today in California, where money meant for the children of 9/11 victims has reportedly been used instead to close that state's significant budget gaps. The Associated Press has released an exclusive report that says both former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, a Republican, and current Governor Jerry Brown, a Democrat, tried to patch a few fiscal holes by raiding a fund that was meant to help anti-terrorism efforts and to build a scholarship program for those children. The money is generated by a special We Will Never Forget license plate. The scholarship program was closed back in 2005, but the state still advertises that the plates help the children. How? Now, Governor Jerry Brown is calling for an audit of that program in hopes of finding out why. Of the $15 million collected in the fund, just over $21,000 has reportedly reached those families. Joining me now, Joe Connor. Follow up now on a controversy we brought to you yesterday. Scholarship money that was meant for the children of 9/11 victims used instead to help plug California's gaping budget hole. They basically stole it. They stole from the children of the 9/11 victims. The money was generated by a special We Will Never Forget license plate out in California. But only a tiny fraction of the $15 million raised has gone directly to these children, and no money has been awarded to scholarships in 7 years. Tell that to the people who are paying extra money so they can have the specialty license plate so they can help the children. California Governor Jerry Brown is calling for an audit now, but they say he's guilty as well as his Republican predecessor, Schwarzenegger. And the latest word out of California officials today, the state's DMV is saying that the missing money is now, it's now calling, quote, loans will be repaid. Trace Gallagher, oh, it's a bit of a different story from what we heard from the DMV yesterday.
Look, Megan, the state got caught red-handed here, and now they're trying to apologize, kind of, but the bottom line is they're still misleading people. As we sit here today, they are still advertising on all their printed material that these 9/11 license plates, the We Will Never Forget plates, are helping children of 9/11 victims. Now, because of this controversy, they have taken it off the website, but the state knows full well they haven't funded these scholarships in more than 7 years. Now, take a look at this breakdown. The program has collected in total $15 million, right? 85% of that money was supposed to be used for anti-terror projects. Instead, only 40% of the money went for that purpose. 15% was to be used to pay for those scholarships. Not bad, right? $2.5 million, except here's the number. This is how much has gone to scholarships. $21,381. Here's the